This is my brutally honest review of The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits, a part of a series where I review every pack for The Sims 4. This video is not sponsored by EA, it's not affiliated with EA, but I am sponsored by Instant Gaming. If you plan on buying any video game, whether that be The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits, any other Sims 4 pack, or any other video game in general, please use my Instant Gaming link in the description below. You get a really great discount and you help to support my channel. Adventure Awaits is about going on getaways and adventures with your Sims with an emphasis on childhood, coming with quite a few new gameplay objects this time around. So taking a look at Create a Sim mode, I don't think the hair meshes are very memorable and the men just get the women's hairs predominantly. Although men actually got better casts than women's this time round, I think, in a worldwide first. I used to complain all the time that men's cast was just so bad in The Sims 4. I can definitely see that they've been trying harder, to be fair. It's not pretty stuff, it's purely functional cast that makes sense for the pack. For example, it comes with new swimwear and a life jacket because there's kayaking and diving in the pack, and a lot of summer camp style clothing and uniforms. I don't think anyone in their right mind is buying this pack for the cast choices. Who needs sloppy head when you can have a literal sloppy head on your head? The Sims 4 is at a weird stage right now where they've added so much stuff they couldn't possibly add anymore. Even with the brand new kits they're releasing, it feels very recycled. To be honest, I actually think I prefer them cutting back and solely focusing on functional casts that make sense within the boundaries of the pack, and I wouldn't mind them doing it more often. They did make some questionable choices with the object categorization, like why is the swimming cap only available to female Sims? Men wear swimming caps. I also think a lot of the men's cast suits female Sims, but they didn't apply it, and also there was a couple of stuff from female that could have suited men. They did add a lot of stuff, I think, for kids and toddlers this time round, which is good. I don't really have anything good or bad to say really about the cast in this pack. I think the Sims team have run out of ideas because they've pretty much done everything, but I think the pack is sufficient. It comes with a good amount of stuff that is useful for making summer camps and retreats, so I'm going to be giving it a 7 out of 10. So I've seen a lot of Sims creators bash on the build stuff, so I went into this expecting disappointment to await rather than adventure, but I was actually mostly content with it. I like the build stuff. I think it's nice, better suited to building a summer camp. You can also use it for maybe some kind of beach lots or shabby homes, I would say. There definitely are not enough objects to make any kind of build you want. I tried to build a log cabin only using the pack without base game, and I really struggled to furnish even half of the build. You really need stuff from other packs to make up the difference. Architecturally, the pack is great with the windows and doors and wallpaper swatches, but not enough stuff. I think the start of the show with build mode is the new playground equipment. It's modular and you can slot all of the jungle gym pieces in any way that you like to build your own, which, by the way, I recommend doing with move objects off. There's also some new swimming pool stuff too, and a new hot tub that sits in the floor, which I'll probably use all of the time. I feel like an expansion pack should expand on the game enough in build mode so that you can make as many builds as you want within the boundaries of the pack, and the whole point of this was like log cabins, retreats, and I just don't feel like it came with enough stuff to do that. I think maybe a kitchen set would have been nice, making the bathroom set actually matching. Perhaps having an outdoor movie projector that was smaller than the one that came with outdoor retreat in that random kit. Maybe some cute outdoor lighting, more functional objects for each room of the house. I do like the stuff and the design aesthetic they went for, and to be balanced, I do also admit it actually came with quite a lot of new gameplay objects this time round, which I'm really happy for because they've traditionally always lacked with gameplay objects in The Sims 4, and finally we actually have a lot more. I think a balanced and honest score of the build mode here is a 7 out of 10. So the new world is called Gibby Points. There are 13 lots across 3 neighborhoods. All of the pre-made lots look perfect this time round. A couple of the lots are waterfront, which is the first time they've done this since Island Living, which is nice to see. On the direct contrary of something that's nice to see, a prolapsed anus. Not only is it prolapsed, it also squirts cum farts every now and then for your Sims to enjoy watching. But no, this prolapsed anus is not going to cum fart for you for free. No, 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 no. Apparently you have to do some quest line in order to actually make the geyser just squirt. And then after finishing it, it finally does what it's supposed to do. I mean, this is why I'm not straight, okay? If it takes that much effort, I'd rather be gay. So aside from jumping to an anus metaphor to a vagina, behind a metaphor. Being serious now, sorry. There was apparently, like, I've just heard that it squirts if you do a quest, but here's the issue. There are NPCs around the world, I believe, who are supposed to give you the quest, but I could not find them anywhere. I did find like the weird, crazy looking bird, and I tried to get it to give me quests, but I think it glitched or the interactions failed because it just didn't work. Because of that, I was unable to make the geysers squirm. I mean, okay, no more jokes. I'm sorry. It's disappointing that I couldn't do the quest this time around because I wanted to include them in the review, but I couldn't even after trying really hard. If I'm trying that hard to do it, then maybe there's an issue with the way it was implemented. There's a few rabbit hole buildings here where you can do stupid random things like checking weather conditions if you own seasons. You can also use these buildings in order to locate different notable places. I think it's a nice first step towards navigating these fake open worlds slightly more tolerable, although it does force constant pop-ups and, you know, like, and just annoying notifications when you do. I found a collectible trader here who can trade your duplicate collectibles with you and sell them to him for a higher price than selling it from your inventory. There are also festivals in each neighborhood. I saw a spin class once, but that's it. The Sims 4 does a really bad job with festivals. Either you're constantly being notified of them everywhere, or you don't hear about them at all, or you hear about them at the wrong time. And when I did hear about them, I was unable to find them. And honestly, I have a feeling that they may have been glitched because apart from the spin class, there was absolutely like nothing I could find. I just feel like maybe they were just completely broken because I was looking very attentively. I just couldn't find anything. And even when I did find the correct location, there was no festival going on. So I'm assuming it's just corrupted. The world is a normal, boring Sims 4 world. There's a huge expansive area to explore, but nothing to find other than a few butterflies here or there. Why am I collecting butterflies, by the way? I don't know. And I'm sure the side quests were lovely if it was even possible for me to find them and accept them in the first place. I'm going to give constructive criticism to make the world more fun. Why not add a butterfly sanctuary where you donate the butterflies to them, kind of like the Animal Crossing Museum where you also donate fossils and maybe you get some rewards each time you do it. That way you're adding some kind of story progression into the game. This is kind of like a basic fundamental that exists in video games, story progression. The Sims 4 doesn't know it too well. How about quest givers who turn up? How about unique stuff and quests for children to do in the world, seeming this is a kid-friendly focused pack? There are playgrounds in the world, by the way, but you'll never see random kids actually playing in them because every single Sims 4 world is a ghost town. Gibby Point is great for screenshots, but nothing else. It's getting a 3 out of 10. Taking a look at the gameplay, the most important thing, this pack is all about kids. I want to say from the offset before we go into getaways, custom lots. Playgrounds are a brand new base game update alongside this pack, although in true EA fashion, they don't really do anything unless you have this pack. The new playgrounds are really cool. Kids can play around in the different pieces of equipment fine. There's also hide and seek in the game now, which is a passive thing that you watch as a player, but you can also do some interactions, although it actually glitched for me, so I'm unable to show you any footage of me doing it successfully. That's after trying it several times, by the way. Paper crafts are also a new thing in the pack. You don't do them on the ordinary activity table. It's a separate object that you can place on any kind of desk or picnic bench or anything. You can craft origami and paper planes and paper mache stuff. It's fine, whatever. What's the point in making paper craft? I don't really know. It just feels like a filler feature, but at least kids have something new to do. I just don't think it's that different from the base game activity table. I'm just not convinced by it, especially given that it's a level 10 skill, which is just so dramatic. Archery is another skill in this pack up to level 5. It's a lot more boring and repetitive than I thought it would be. It branches off into bow fishing at a higher level, but other than that, I think it's a very minor feature. With the bow fishing, you're more likely to catch rare fish, which I think is useful, but I don't really understand why I'm doing archery. The game doesn't come with archery competitions or anything, so I just feel like they didn't expand on this expansion pack feature. And I'll be real, the animation for bow fishing is really creepy. I can't tell if it's a glitch or intended. Please tell me you see what I mean. Simmers have been catching bugs in The Sims 4 for years now, but now your Sims themselves can can catch bugs. And no, I don't mean doing press-ups or T-posing, I mean literal bug catching. That is different to the bug catching that came with the Outdoor Retreat game pack. Confusing, I know. Butterflies and moths are a new collectible, and you have to look in the collections menu to get hints about which ones are where and at what times, and you have to fulfill certain conditions to get some of them. Okay, that's lovely, but as I said before, why is there no butterfly sanctuary to donate them to or something? There is a large insect prison object that you can capture them in, but why am I doing that? Insectology, or it's not called insectology, it's some other name, but there's a skill that comes with it associated with this up to level 5. Again, I don't really know what the skill is for. I don't know why I'm catching the bugs in the first place. Again, so many issues with gameplay loops with this pack. There is a new reward trait for the bug catching aspiration, which I went through. It just comes with some random romance interactions. I believe it comes with 3 that basically just show butterflies above your head when you do them, but that's pretty much it. There is also, by the way, a new aspiration for kids this time around, which is good, which is about being the cool kid on the block. In fact, kids get a brand new feature called Formative Moments. It's basically a secondary type of aspiration that you can have on top of your normal one, and you can stack a lot of them at the same time. They're more like mini aspiration goals, and they have some minor effects on the kids when they grow up. For example, your sim could have a formative moment about being in the water, and the goal is to swim for 6 hours and use a kayak 3 times. And after you do this, your reward is to lose energy slower whilst kayaking as an adult. Bit weird. What's the point in these kinds of rewards? They don't seem meaningful to me, and I don't see the point in having a formative moment, to be honest. But fine, it's a filler feature that gives you more missions to do. I just don't really know why I'm doing the missions, so that I can kayak with a slower energy need to decay. But sorry, why am I kayaking again in the first place? I would like to say there's also a new trait called competitive, where it actually splits off into 2 branches. Your sims can either be healthily competitive and a good team sport, or they can be really atrociously competitive and have like a really negative team spirit. From my experience, every single sim geared towards having a very negative competitive spirit, regardless of their other traits and regardless of what I did with them. They just all automatically became negative for no reason. It changes the way that they react to winning or losing some things, which is cute, but I don't think it's that substantial in terms of giving your sims more personality. It is randomly a very in-depth trait with a lot of interactions for it. It just doesn't make your sims feel like they have any more personality, so it defeats the point of being a personality trait. So the moment you've been all waiting for, getaways. What is a getaway? It's basically a schedule. You assign people roles, and at set times you decide what these sims do. EA have created a list of template ideas, so I tried the outdoor kids camp getaway to start with, and the roles were campers and camp director. So at 6 a.m, the camp director is scheduled to cook breakfast and clean, and the campers are scheduled to eat. At 9 a.m, the campers are scheduled to do physical activities, and the director looks after and mentors them, etc, throughout the day. At each scheduled time, you set a main overarching activity, and then you set some sub activities, although I found they did the sub activities more than the main overarching activity, so I don't really know if they're balanced correctly. Surprisingly, sims mostly seem to know their place and will do things correctly, but they do also retain some autonomy, which I actually like, because they're not all just moving and doing the same thing like robots. It feels like some sims will go off and do their own thing, which I actually do really like about it, and I think it was done mostly well. I would admit though, whilst playing with the getaways, I did think, what is the point? Like, I just got a bit bored of the kids camp within the first 24 hours. I'm watching other sims, the other NPC townies around me, doing what they're supposed to do, which is kind of the bare minimum, and I'm scheduling my sim to do the same things with them. Okay, but why is that fun? I do think it's cool that you can change up the schedule activities at any time that you like. So if you get bored of the kids camp, you can actually add cross-pack activities from other packs you own and schedule them in. So I definitely think you can make it more interesting. It just requires a lot of creativity. The pack also comes with a pre-made Love Island style romance competition where singles mix and mingle, and at the end of every day, a sim is supposed to be eliminated. How are they eliminated? On what grounds? Why? I don't really know. What's the consequences? I don't really know. In fact, this getaway was utter fucking hell. Sims 4 sims are so incapable of interacting with each other. That's why it just didn't work. At least in the kids' summer camp, they were just kind of doing their own thing but next to each other. Trying to have these Sims interact with each other romantically just wasn't working. I feel like the whole competition aspect was not thought through very well at all. It just feels like they kind of threw it in at the end. It's been my dream for ages to have a reality TV show for the pack for The Sims 4, and I just don't feel like this cut it. I didn't find it enjoyable. It's not really a reality TV show. It just creates the illusion. You can kind of add reality TV show elements, but it's not the same thing. You're just kind of playing pretend. There's also a pre-made fitness retreat, and this is obviously to show off the new exercise bike and dumbbells in the game. For this one, I mostly just let my sim do what she wanted, and she basically did what she was supposed to do within the schedule, although again, I didn't really find it that enjoyable. And something that I am a little bit annoyed about with this pack, despite coming with 8 template getaways, there are only pre-made lots for 3 of them. What they used to do in The Sims 2 and 3, if you didn't play those games, is every time a new pack came out, to your lot library, they would actually add several different types of lots that you can replace with the other lots, which was really cool. But with this pack, they didn't really do that. I feel like they should have added a lot for all of the other different activities that you could do. I tried making a daycare, a boarding school, and a retirement home. The retirement home was fucking hilarious, but as it's just a getaway, they don't live there, and Sims can only do a getaway for maximum of 6 days. So EA implemented an old people's home template that I got a lot for, but you can't actually make an old people's home because it's only a getaway for 6 days, which makes no sense. I then tried to make a daycare and a boarding school. They both went absolutely terribly. They were hell. Sims were not doing what they were supposed to. It's impossible to have like a teacher-student dynamic with getaways, so I wouldn't really set it up that way. Just to confirm, this is not a hotels pack. You cannot make hotels. You could try and kind of make a hostel, but it's not the same as a hotel. Another issue is how much getaways cost. They are really expensive to visit one in game. EA did not balance the costs very well at all, and I feel like as a player you should have more autonomy over how much they cost. You can also make custom lots which follow the exact same mechanic as getaways, where you schedule certain roles and certain times people do interactions. It's applied to the lot itself, so when you visit one of these lots, you'll find Sims doing the activities at the set times, although you can't join in, by the way. The only way you can join in is if you join it as a getaway. So I don't really understand what a custom lot is. I don't think anybody really understands what it is. What is the difference between a custom lot and a getaway? Nothing but everything. Who knows? Anyway, the first thing I tried to make on a live stream was a mental asylum, and I just want to say it was really hard finding all of the activities that I wanted. There is no search feature to scroll through all of the activities. It made it really cumbersome trying to find what I wanted with all of the packs installed. Why didn't they add a search feature? They did the same mistake with The Sims 4 Businesses with No Hobbies pack. Why is so EA search bar phobic? So I tried my best to find the activities and eventually got there. I couldn't figure out how to assign all the specific roles to specific Sims on the lot, particularly for my Sim. So I assigned the role of Patience to be infected, just like the Sims from Strangerville that walk around possessed. None of them in the lot were actually infected, so it was glitched. And as I said before, if you visit a custom lot, you can't actually see the schedule or participate in the lot activities because you aren't assigned a role, but it's impossible to assign a role. So what was the point in making the custom lot? I don't know. You can just make one using activities and schedules, but can't participate unless it's a getaway. So it's not a custom lot, it's a getaway lot, which I feel like if they just called it a getaway lot, it would have made more sense. So what's the purpose of a custom lot where you have townies that spawn in doing certain behaviors at certain times, but your Sim is not directly involved and there's no gameplay loop? I don't know, I don't get it, and neither does EA apparently either. I think getaways and custom lots are a cool idea with a lot of possibilities, and I definitely will be spending a lot of time messing around with the feature. I think it's cool, just like how I thought businesses and hobbies was cool with the brand new home business feature. But I also thought to myself, realistically, am I going to be making all this effort to build a getaway lot and set a schedule and staff and everything just to see if it could actually work or not? Because this is still The Sims 4 and most things don't work. And also, what's the difference? If I make a custom lot that has set activities, what's the difference between a home business lot that has set activities? I don't know. What's the difference between that and a getaway club at a set lot with activities? I don't know. Especially seeing businesses and hobbies was only 2 packs ago. It just seems a bit weird timing. Imaginary friends come with the pack. There are 4 dolls to choose from, and your child sim can play with it and turn it into a real life imaginary friend, and other sims don't see it. Hilariously, the sims around the child will actually get really uncomfortable because they think the child's talking to themselves. And once your sim turns into a teen, they can actually turn their imaginary friend into a real sim and add them to the household. On paper, that is. I was unable to do it. It took me a good few times due to bugs and glitches to make it happen. Honestly, I think imaginary friends are absolutely hilarious. They are so fucking ugly and creepy looking. I really like it. Weirdly, all 4 of the imaginary friends are girls. There aren't any boy imaginary friends, which I didn't really understand. I think it's a really fun concept, but when they become human, they're just pretty much human. Also, they don't really do anything. They don't really have super special interactions that are going to change the game. I think Sims 3 imaginary friends were a bit more fun, but I think this is a nice quirky feature that they added, and I'm glad they put it in there. The pack also has a weekend job at summer camp. I haven't really seen anyone else talk about it. It's weird because you only work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it is technically a full-time job. So the gameplay of this pack is essentially being able to make your own summer camps, whether that be a kids camp or an adult one. Not that they're actually camping, by the way, because this pack doesn't come with camping tents, even though I think it should have done. You instead just have them live in log cabins for up to 6 days and do set scheduled activities at set times over that 6-day period, and then they go home. I would call Getaways an interaction scheduler rather than a getaway. You force Sims to do certain things at certain times, but it's not really brand new gameplay. You're just scheduling a time in which they perform pre-existing interactions. I've said this in all of my recent Sims 4 pack reviews. They don't really come with new gameplay. They just come with new ways to use pre-existing gameplay. The problem is you just don't really get what you want with it. You only get a small taster. You can kind of make a retirement home, but it's not actually a retirement home. You can kind of make a kids summer camp, but it's not really a summer camp. You can kind of make a reality TV competition, but not really. This pack allows you to schedule events to create the illusion that you're kind of doing something, but you're not really doing it, and there's no gameplay loop, and it's not very satisfying or rewarding as a player to do any of these things. To highlight some positives though about the pack that I do like, I think it's really great for kids. It comes with a lot of cool new gameplay. Adults can do archery, paper crafts, even hide and seek, but I think it is more geared towards kids, and I think family players will really love this pack. It's a much better alternative than outdoor retreat in order to go on mini vacations. I think because you can actually schedule, I didn't say this before, but you can actually schedule getaways to occur once a week, every week on only one specific day. So maybe you could do like a weekend kids book and reading club or kids crash or something, whatever they're called, where they go once a week on a Saturday or Sunday. I just feel like there is definitely a lot that you could do with a pack like this, and I do think it takes a very creative mind and somebody who has a lot of time and patience. Most Sims 4 players are casual players, so I don't think it's suitable for most, but I think for family players and legacy players, you will get a lot of enjoyment out of the new activities and also being very clever with the new getaway system. I just feel like the pack was a little bit overhyped. Fundamentally, watching Sims do set things at a set time is not gameplay, and there's no gameplay loop. It's just me watching. I can schedule a chef to cook dinner at 5 p.m. Sims in other worlds, even though they're not assigned the role to cook dinner at 5 p.m, they will still autonomously cook for themselves, even though the chef is assigned to cook. So Sims are scheduled to do things, but they also do things that don't make sense because they're dumb Sims 4 Sims. I just feel underwhelmed with the gameplay of the pack. I'm sorry. I'm giving this pack a 5 out of 10 for gameplay. Sims 4 packs are often extremely buggy and glitchy, or even if they're not buggy, there's often just some annoying oversights that exist or poor implementation of features, which I think are so important to look at. So the rehome butterfly mechanic doesn't work very well, and you often can't rehome one even though you should be able to. And if you accidentally place a butterfly spawner in a public place, you can't always pick them up back again, so they're stuck there forever. Archery competitions barely work. Good luck trying to get 2 Sims together to do it. This is more of an oversight than a bug, but kayaks are constantly going missing or spawning in random locations. Random Sims are constantly using random kayaks, and it's all just a mess. Whenever I tried to play hide and seek, my Sims just got stuck indefinitely definitely counting down or trying to look for Sims that weren't actually hiding. It just didn't work for me 100% of the time. There is a new interaction called Call Getaway Sims here in order to make them group up, but it didn't work all the time for me. There's a bug in the world where Sims will actually swim through the waterfront lots indoors, and it's been happening to me. It happened in the official Sims 4 live stream too, and also some other people. As I said before, I honestly think festivals were broken because when I was told there would be them and where they were, I just didn't see them. The imaginary friend doll is broken as sometimes won't turn human. In fact, mine just disappeared then reappeared after I tried to do it, and then the action went missing. It was just a bit strange, and the game seems to really struggle to perform the interaction in other times when I tried to do it. I also think the new rabbit hole career is glitchy, because as a head camp counselor, my sim was earning 12,240 simoleons per shift, which is just insane. Of course that's wrong. The role requirements also don't always work. As I said before, when I tried to make my asylum, I needed all of the guests to be possessed, but they weren't. Also, in my boarding school, I set my sims all to be children, but they were only teens that turned up. They did start off as children, but they literally all aged up at the same time for no reason, which is clearly a glitch. Sims don't always wear their fitness clothing when using the exercise bike. They just use their everyday wear. I also found for custom lot Sims don't always wear the outfit they've been assigned for their role. There are also draw distance issues with the world with certain scenery and buildings like the watchtower not loading properly. Almost every single feature of this pack bugged out in some way, whether that be major or minor. It's not acceptable at all. They should have tested this pack thoroughly before release, and it's very evident they didn't do a good enough job. It is getting a 3 out of 10 for performance. In my pack reviews, I like to discuss cross-pack features. Obviously, the main cross-pack feature here is the fact that it comes with getaway activities that come from all of the other packs, and they covered pretty much all of the major bases. There were some random activities that they didn't cover, or some that are kind of hidden and not covered very well. But I think there's a lot of possibilities. You could make a farm retreat where guests come and look after and play with the horses. You could make a vampire blood bank. There's a lot of different activities that I think would be really fun to try out. They didn't think of everything, and usually when EA releases a Sims 4 pack, they never end up getting updated with brand new activities. So if they missed one, they won't come in the future and add another. That's not how they do things, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to rely on modders for a lot of things. But in general, I actually think they covered cross-pack play very well here. It doesn't feel like you require other packs in order to make this pack fun, but it is most certainly enhanced by all of the other packs, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for cross-pack play. This is where I give an overall average score of The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits, which should be taken with a grain of salt because everyone plays a game for different reasons, which is why I do the more kind of modular pack reviews. So in all, this is getting a 5.5 out of 10, which I think is a fair score for The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits. Mediocrity Awaits would be a better pack name. I don't know if that's a real word. I just feel like it lacks a gameplay loop and it doesn't go in depth enough. I'm sure it was, a nightmare for them to code in getaways. I'm sure it was a very intricate thing, but that doesn't necessarily reflect good gameplay loop as a player. I had similar feelings about the Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies pack. I thought it was such an excellent idea on paper, but similarly, it just doesn't really have a great loop. If you enjoyed this pack review, you might want to check out another pack review here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.